Jordan, if St. Louis wants to pull off the upset, they're going to need some help along with Peyton Kennedy from this starting five. A starting five that looks different than it has in any of their first 4 games. The other 4 starters last time out on Sunday in the 12-point loss at Southern Indiana combined for just 12 against her 23. And it is a tip that is controlled by St. Louis as we are underway, off and running. It's rounded out from Brooklyn Gray, the junior, second-year transfer after starting at Wabash Valley. This is her first shot, and now Mizzou's first possession. It's a side coming in averaging just over 60 points per game. Top 25 in the country when it comes to efficiency beyond the arc. That's where they have really shined this year. As the walk 2 is no good. The elbow jumper from Randall, her first shot. We'll see what the pace looks like. St. Louis is a team that loves the full court pressure. Defense has struggled. They're giving up 80 points per game, 2-2 on the season. They're coming off a road loss. It's already their 4th road game in their first 5. Mizzou's back at home, 3-2, winners of a couple in a row after a slow start. Looking inside for Peyton Kennedy, lost it for his second. Kennedy Calhoun got stuck on the baseline. And the high arcing 3, no good for Gray. She's 0 for 2 to start tonight. Coming off a season-low 3 points. That's her worst output in the regular season as a Billiken. So we look at Mizzou's starting 5 for Robin Pitchton's side. Play up too strong there. The runner from Grace Slaughter. But one change, or no changes, excuse me, for Mizzou after they brought out a new 5 against Western Illinois. They're running it back the same as it was Friday night.
And that includes Avery Cronky. You see it there. Almost got the steal. She's a player to keep an eye out for in terms of her defensive capability. She's got a motor. Keep an eye on her to get a couple steals maybe tonight. That's always a goal of hers.
Mizzou had 4 players at double figures in that 75-55 win against the Leathernecks. That was a season high, led by Shrek's 26. But Slaughter quietly had a really nice, solid, productive day with 14 points on just 5 shots to go with 6 rebounds as well. Avery Cronkite, who missed all of last year with the injury, is tiptoeing across the half-court line here. Making her 3rd straight start, the 3rd of her career. Did not start as a freshman. Nia Wilson with the runner, that's money. And the first bucket of the night for either side.
A nice job there by Nia Wilson, recognizing that there was the defender sitting there in the paint. Didn't want to pick up the charge. Nice little floater. Get that to go.
The St. Louis side that was really in a heck of a lot of foul trouble down in Evansville last time out. As you look at their 5, which has a change for the first time this year. They ran out the same starting lineup in each of the first 4 contests, but Hannah Wallace, the freshman guard, gets her first career start as they look for Gray again, who's now 0 for 3. And they did a nice job backtracking to take it right back. So Hannah Wallace gets the start, and it'll be Tierra Simon coming off the bench instead of starting here tonight. Good defense from Mizzou. Slaughter looking to push the pace the other way as it poked away from Calhoun. She's so good on that and doing just that. Player who was all A-10 defensive team last year, was 3rd in the conference with over 2 steals a game and 86 steals. That was the 3rd most in program history. Top 25 in the country in that category a year ago. Slaughter in the corner looking down low for Gallicolandi, who gets double teamed, trying to fight right through it. Powers it up and will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, that quick little double that you saw Slew put on Gallicolandi. Not surprised if we see that quite a bit tonight, as the St. Louis Billikens may have a bit of a size disadvantage there. You can see Anyameli comes over quickly to double team Gallicolandi.
So that first foul goes against Peyton Kennedy, which is huge because she's their leading scorer at just about 20 points a game. Leads the team in made 3s as well. She's the most productive shooter from beyond the arc at 77 triples a year ago. Player that can't have in foul trouble, can't afford to here tonight. And they lost, Shataria Anyameli, who you mentioned. She fouled out, only played 10 minutes last Friday. Actually had 4 fouls in the first half and fouled out almost immediately in the second half. Here's a turnover in the middle of the floor. Picked up by Cronkite. Randall with the right hand. That's a tough runner, but a soft kiss up the glass.
Nia Randall, a player that we've talked a lot about already this year, just in terms of her versatility and ability to play multiple positions and score in multiple ways. You can see there, not the easy right-hand layup that she just got to go there.
Anyameli off to Mark. Glanton got a touch to it, but it's off her. And it'll head the other way. Already 3 quick turnovers for St. Louis inside the first 3 minutes.
Take a quick look here at that Lanaya Randall bucket. You can see a good, way too much space there. She knows she can attack the basket hard. She's often got the size advantage as well when she attacks that basket. Good job not picking up the charge, going up strong.
Wilson with the fancy footwork and the bucket. She's got a couple already. Game high 4.70 run to start the night for the Tigers. Kalu drops it back for Wallace, so athletic off the dribble. She's got the soft touch as well. The freshman paying dividends in his starting role for the first time.
And Hannah Wallace is a young player who I think can really match up nicely with the Missouri guards in terms of her size and ability to get to the basket. Missouri's got a lot of 5'11", 6 foot or above guards, and so her size will help combat that for sure.
What a move and finish from Lanaya Randall. It's been all Randall and Wilson, the two transfers, the biggest two for this Mizzou side. Randall from Southern Illinois, and her game has really paid well and played over to this Mizzou side so far this fall.
It really has. I think, her body type, what she can do offensively and defensively is what has really allowed her to translate so easily here. I talked to Coach Pynchon earlier today, and she said, Lanaya Randall might be our best one-on-one on-ball defender, despite the fact that she plays post sometimes. And so look out for her in terms of that defensive pressure as well.
Averaged over 18 points per game. It's first team all Missouri Valley Conference with the Salukis last year. Mizzou's hit 4 straight buckets. Peyton Kennedy trying to get it going, working on Avery Crockett, and she will head to the free throw line. Boy, that's her game. That's this team's game. Getting to the free throw line. They're second in the country in free throw percentage, and there's not a single player shooting it better from the charity stripe in the country than Peyton Kennedy.
Yeah, I talked a little bit about the Billikens having some scoring troubles or some shooting troubles. Just shooting right now as a team in the 30s in the field goal percentage, but their free throws, much different story. So definitely want to get to the line as much as possible if you're shooting at 86%.
Second in the country behind Albany, who's attempted just about half the free throws that the Billikens have. Kennedy now 31 for 31 on the year. Remember being here last fall. Here's the quick look ahead to Slaughter. Elbow runner with the left hand. That's a tough shot. Blanton skies and plucks it out of the air. But Haley Frank had a streak who was north of that mark last year. Over 2,000 points in her illustrious career. Obviously one of the biggest absences for this team. Into the front court, it's Gala Kalundi with the easy layup.
Good job by Gala Kalundi getting out quickly in transition and recognizing that she's going to have an open layup. Coach Pynchon wants her team to focus much more on getting transition buckets than they did last year to combat some of those possession issues that they were having in terms of their turnovers. The more that they can get up and down the court and not have to play that half-court offense, the better it will be for them. This is a great job. Grace Slaughter, you can tell she looks up the court immediately looking for an outlet. So you can tell for the Missouri Tigers that's something that they're focusing on this season. Good job so far this game, getting out in transition.
Four turnovers tonight. St. Louis shooting 17% to Mizzou's 63%. The Tigers have hit 5 of their last 6. They've had pretty much everything going already. It was Avery Crockett hoisted 3, around it out. Second effort, and there on mop-up duty is Lanaya Randall. She's already got 7.
I talked about her offense today, but again, her rebounding and her defense are huge too. She's got a motor and she plays incredibly hard.
Bounce pass inside. That's another turnover. Randall comes away with it this time. Nia Wilson looking to push the pace. Kroenke open again, and this time she connects.
And the transition 3 is not a huge part of Kroenke's game, but like I said earlier, those transition looks is what the Tigers are looking to get, and Avery Kroenke's she's got a jump shot for sure. Not a huge part of her game, but if she's open like that, it will fall.
Second made 3 for her this season. She's only attempted 6, and 2 of them have come in the last minute. Up by 13. St. Louis in need of a response. They don't get it here for Maya Bergstrom. Doesn't play major minutes, only 2 minutes a game, but she's already in there as the Billikens are really mixing things up. Rebecca Tillett not afraid to go to the bench early and often. Slaughter off the bounce here, too strong, but she gets fouled.
Good take there by Grace Slaughter. She's a player you mentioned, Max, who scores pretty quietly.
17-4 start for Mizzou. It's a 7-0 run. They've hit 7 of their last 9, making it look easy. Gala Kalundi out in transition. Lanaya Randall leading the way with 7, and Avery Crockett joining the party as well. Rebecca Tillett, such a great program builder. She's in year 3. In year 1, she took the Spilliket side to the NCAA tournament for the very first time in their program history. That came a year after she took the Longwood Lancers to their first ever NCAA tournament. So wherever she goes, they win. They won the WNIT a year ago. 2-2 start. I don't think there's ever going to be a cause for panic. A couple of years ago, they were 7-16 out of the gate before running away with things in February and winning their conference tournament in the A-10. Meanwhile, when it comes to these two sides, meeting number 28, Jordan, it's been all Mizzou, but revenge is fresh on their minds after what happened in St. Louis a year ago.
Yeah, Stu's got a couple recent wins against the Tigers at home in St. Louis, and so Coach Tillett and his Billikens team knows that a win tonight is more than possible, and this is an in-state rivalry that's been going on for quite some time, and they've had struggles here at Mizzou Arena. It's a hard place to play, but her team says that, that's kind of a good thing. When you come in to a gym knowing that you've never won there before, it gives you a little extra motivation, and this is a team that's looking to get back into that postseason again, so, anything can happen on any given night, but like you said, they're coming off a recent win in St. Louis last year, so they certainly have the motivation and the chip on their shoulder to get a win tonight as well.
Goal is pretty clear for both these sides. Even in the middle of November, it's a trip back to the NCAA tournament for St. Louis. Would be 2 of the last 3 years after having never made it prior. As Grace Slaughter comes out of the timeout at the free throw line, where she's shooting 87% prior to that miss. A team in Missouri that shooting 67% from the line. They've struggled, especially comparatively. They're 18 percentage points behind what St. Louis has done so far this year. Ashton Judd checks in. She came off the bench last game for the first time since her freshman campaign. She's now a junior. She's off the bench again. And Umeli doing a lot of dribbling. Lead at 14 for Mizzou. St. Louis a little bit stagnant on this end. Calhoun can't drive past Linthicum, but it's a great kick out to Gray. He can't hit again. She's really struggled. 0 of 4 from the field, 0 of 3 from distance. Pulls it off the screen. That's a great hedge. They get the double team, forced to travel. That is the first turnover for Mizzou.
Yeah, that's a really good double team there off this ball screen, because Hannah Linthicum looks like she was going to be wide open if Nia Wilson was able to hit the roller there. So really good opportunity there on the double team from the ball screen from the Billikens.
Judd with some hounded defense, and she will get whistled for the foul. That is the second for Mizzou, 3 against St. Louis so far. For the Billikens, they haven't scored in just a little over 2.5 minutes. I mean, what do they need to do right now to finally get something going on this end?
Yeah, I think if you're the Billikens, you want to attack the basket, pick up some more fouls, and get to the free throw line, because that's what they do well. They also need to start getting some offense going from their defense. They're a team that likes to press a lot, force a lot of possessions. So I think if they can get a steal or two and get things going from the defensive end, that'll help them out.
Gray trying to force the issue. She comes up empty again, 0 for 5 now. Shrek in the game. Her career-high 26-point out, and that might have been a little bit of a shove. It's going to be a foul on the floor. It's going to stay here, though. It's against Brooklyn Gray instead. I think it might have been a little bit of an arm bar from Ashton Judd, but she avoids what would have been a second foul on her in a matter of seconds.
Take a quick look at that here, Ashton Judd. A little bit of an arm bar, maybe. Maybe a little bit of body there from Gray, but Ashton Judd looking to attack early as she's coming off the bench. Not something she's super used to doing, but definitely want to stay cognizant of her fouls. She already has 1.
Linthicum gets stripped away, but break across the arms and a foul. Back-to-back in quick succession. That'll go against Kennedy Calhoun. That is already the 5th on the team now. Trip to the free throw line for Hannah Linthicum. Didn't score last time out in the season high 16 minutes, but she's on the board here. The 4th annual CM Newton Classic is tonight on the NCC Network and the ESPN app. Senior guard Mark Sears leads number 2 Alabama against Illinois. Coverage begins at 9 Eastern, 8 Central after Florida-Auburn women's volleyball. Biggest lead of the night so far, Randall. That's a high level of difficulty with drawing rim. Over 3 minutes without a point, Calhoun. That's a great layoff, and they needed that. An easy bucket at the rim. It comes through Markavia Shavers.
And that started with Calhoun's little inside-out dribble with the left hand as she's attacking the basket. Anytime you've got the ball and you're going downhill at full speed, if you hit the defender with a quick in and out and keep it pushing, that's really hard to guard.
Shavers did score last game, had 4 rebounds, a couple of steals in just 7 minutes. So St. Louis continuing to go to the bench early and often. Judd off the mark, stays right here. Lithicum corrals the offensive rebound. Third of the night for Mizzou in this opening quarter. Judd wide open. She's going to rip through 3 and could not get it to fall.
Judd struggling so far this season from the three-point line, but that was quite a bit of space the Billikens left her, and she's more than capable, so they're going to want to stay cognizant of not leaving her too wide open.
Came in just under 28% for distance on the year. But last year she hit 47 threes, shot 35%. She's got that shot in her, no doubt about it, especially when she's that open straight on. Here's a look at what she's done so far this year relative to last. Sees some drop off. Started all 30 games last year, like we talked about, off the bench and back-to-back tilts here this fall. Calhoun drives, gets doubled, trying to circle back around. That's a tough shot in traffic. Poked around and touched the line. It'll go out to Mizzou. Isabel Tillett had a chance, the redshirt junior, daughter of Rebecca Tillett, who entered for the first time. Well, this has been just about as you could have wanted, script-wise so far, if you're Robin Pitchton. Outside of that moment right there, Peyton Kennedy looking for an easy bucket. She could use it. She gets the and one. That's her first field goal. Back to the free throw line for a player who's perfect from the charity stripe this year. Trying to pull her side back within 10.
Yeah, Peyton Kennedy's got to get going. Whenever she plays well, the team plays well. There with the good steal there, Ashton Judd's got to have better ball security. And Peyton Kennedy, just such a good, strong body, a good frame, finishes through that contact. If you're Ashton Judd, if you're going to foul, make sure you foul. Can't get both of them.
Program record in points a year ago. She was 14th in the country of total points. And she makes again. Of course she does. 3 of 3 on the night, 32 of 32 on the season. I gotta wonder how many times she's missed a free throw even in practice with that score.
No kidding. I'm also curious as to whether she knows she's perfect this year from the line or not. Sometimes it's better not to know.
Slaughter, great drop step and a soft finish.
It's a beautiful move there, using her size and height advantage against a smaller defender, something she does quite a bit.
Kennedy trying to get it going. That might have been a forced shot very early in the shot clock. It's an air ball.
Grace Slaughter, we saw her score just a second ago. Wanted to mention earlier, Max, we talked about her being a quiet scorer. She shoots the ball and scores very efficiently. She's shooting right now almost 57% from the field and 72% from 3. So a quiet score, but very efficient nonetheless.
Abby Schreck came up short. Gray dives to the deck, and it'll be a jump ball with the arrow going the other way to St. Louis. As Shavers is ready to check in at the bench for the Billikens. A little confusion as to who she's subbing out. Had 6 on the court for a little bit there. It's Tillett that'll hit the bench. Lead at 12. For Mizzou, their success this year, a lot of it's going to come with how much growth and development they get from last year's freshmen who are now sophomores. Great Slaughter, a big part of that. Same with Abby Schreck. Same with Hannah Lithicum. Grace Slaughter just got her first bucket. That was a nasty move. Got a little bit of a size advantage. You saw her speed and fast twitch muscles too. Shot clock down to 10. Bree Johns with the triple. Can't get it to fall. There's nothing falling right now for St. Louis. They are 0 for distance, 0 for 7.
And that 0-4 might be the reason that you saw the Tigers in that last possession test out a bit of a zone. They've been going maybe a little bit back and forth. The SLU Billikens, not a great three-point shooting team, and certainly tonight not shooting the ball well. And so the Tigers throwing a zone in there. Not a bad move. Might see that as we continue throughout the game to combat the Billikens' athleticism that they have.
But to get back to the line where she split the pair last time. Play on the perimeter on both ends for St. Louis was really a talking point after their 12-point loss over the weekend on Sunday. They gave up a ton of threes at a high clip. 43% is what the Screaming Eagles shot for distance. On the other side, St. Louis shot just above 18%. And you watch that game and you think, boy, USI could have shot better. They had a lot of really wide open looks.
Yeah, Coach Tillett knows that's a weak spot for her team, is guarding that 3 ball.
Great lob over the top. Second bucket from Arcadia Shavers. Could have helped with the last shot. They didn't, but they get the easy deuce. Avery Cronkite off the screen, gets downhill, trying to spin. That's a tough jumper, doesn't fall. Randall gets the board, but can't get the second effort up in time. Mizzou shoots 50% in the opening quarter, and they lead by 12. Just one triple for the home team in only 3 attempts. And really everything rolling for the home side on both ends. Randall leading the way with 7 points. Rare triple from Avery Cronkite. It just feels like everybody's feeling the flow right now at Mizzou Arena for the home Tigers. Well, last year, Lania Randall led the MVC at 30-point games with 4. She's off to a flying start. What have you seen, Jordan, so far from the transfer here tonight?
Yeah, Lania Randall is playing the game as she usually plays the game. She is getting offensive rebounds. She's attacking the glass. She's attacking the bucket hard, looking for that mid-range jump shot as she normally does. She's got 7 points and 3 rebounds to lead the Tigers so far, shooting 3 of 4 from the field, so very efficient as well. Just a player who can really find a way to score from all 3 levels if needed. She can guard the ball. She could also guard post players if needed. Just a player who's extremely solid. She's averaging right now 11 points and 7 rebounds a game, close to a double-double. She's close to 8 rebounds a game right now, actually. So, again, a player who can really do it all, score on all 3 levels, and attacks the glass really well.
So dynamic. Her father, John, was a collegiate running back. Her brother, John Jr., started as a running back at Utah. Now he's a corner with the Utes this fall. Her uncle played in the NFL 3 years with the Cowboys. Great slaughter with another nice move on that low block on that side.
And the Missouri Tigers use her a lot on that low block, especially because she's got shorter defenders on her, usually most of the time.
And Umele to Shavers has really been the bread and butter so far for St. Louis the last few minutes. Major minutes off the bench for Shavers, the Pearl River Community College transfer, who's now in year 3 with the Billikens. Averaging just under 3 points per game. Well, she's already above that with 4 in her first trip to the charity stripe as well. She's got a couple of layups. Misses the free throw. It's only her 3rd attempt of the season. She's 1 for 3. Trying to figure out exactly what 5 is working the best for St. Louis against this Mizzou side. As you noted, they were going to be undersized, but the perimeter defense and offense was always going to be huge in terms of coming out of tonight with their first ever win at Como, or their 14th loss. There's another beautiful pass inside. This time it's Slaughter working it to Gallikalandi. Pocket pass to the kick. It'll go against Nia Wilson.
Good ball handling there from Brooklyn Gray, but Gallikalandi in the play before, just a good job by Slaughter getting the ball into the post quickly before the defense gets any time to recover. Good job of Gallikalandi coming up, showing her numbers. Nothing too hard right there. Keep it simple.
Gray looking inside. Great defense, just hounding. That's what we're talking about. Lania Randall doing it so well on both ends. So athletic, got great leaping ability. That's a high arcing triple, no good from Slaughter. A couple of Tigers fighting for the ball. It's picked up by Gallikalandi. Another offensive rebound, that's number 5. Another second chance opportunity for Mizzou. High screen for Gallikalandi. Wilson gets downhill, tried to feed it right back. Somehow it found Randall, who was wide open. This is the layup. This was to get a foul that'll go the other way. Looking for that screen and roll, just a little bit over the top on the pass.
And maybe a little bit of miscommunication there on placements. Lania Randall was trying to find that open soft spot in the offense. At the same exact time, Gallikalandi was coming off of the ball screen. That pick and roll from Missouri has been there quite a few times already in this game. They haven't been able to hit it yet, partly due to the Billikens doing a really good job of blitzing that ball screen, giving them kind of a quick double team.
That's going to be a turnover, no foul. More strong defensive work from Randall, who forces the turnover against Shantaria Anumele.
Those last 2 defensive stands there by Randall, you won't see those in the box score, but again, she gets deflection. She keeps those feet moving. She makes things really hard for that offensive player bringing the ball up the court. Not everything's going to show in the box score, but defensive plays like that are very impactful.
Slaughter thought about it for a second. Drives with the left hand. Left it a little short, but get fouled on the way up from Bree Johns. Slaughter being really aggressive, driving on that left hand and that left side of the court.
She has been very aggressive so far in the first half of this game, and that's something that I asked Coach Pynchon about earlier today. You know, with Slaughter shooting it at such a high clip, 57%, and she's playing significantly more minutes than anyone else on the floor. I asked, are you wanting a player like Grace Slaughter to shoot more buckets? Do her teammates need to look for her more? What is that? And really it comes down to her being a very selfless player, very quiet player, but you can tell she's being super aggressive already in the first half.
Tilda Shellfish looks like she's getting a talking to, like she's just about to sub you next. Slaughter was 4th in the SEC with 33.5 minutes per game last year. She's got a big ticker, and she's just relentless out there. Rarely ever signs out. It'll be Kroenke that does hit the bench. Shellfish, the transfer from Presbyterian, who herself averaged actually over 34 minutes on the Big South in minutes played last year. Anumele off the dribble, trying to spin on Slaughter. Got the shot up too strong, kicked around, and picked up by Wilson.
Billikens are getting caught a little bit playing some one-on-one basketball and not working out too well. They found some success trying to get that ball into the post quick. If they can get a quick post touch right over half court and just get themselves to the free throw line a few times, get Missouri in some foul trouble, I think that'll be helpful.
Kennedy can't hit the contested layup. Back out to Bree Johns, who had a great game last time out. She hasn't found it yet here tonight. Wilson loses it, last off Mizzou. It'll stay here as the Billikens will get a 3rd shot of this possession. Bree Johns, one of a trio of players who had a great game off the bench. She had a season-high 9 points on Sunday. We talked about Hannah Wallace, who started her first career start tonight, had a career-high 8 points in that same game. Yeah, the starters outside of Peyton Kennedy didn't play too well on the offensive end, but the bench had their best game of the season with 24 points. Calhoun trying to shimmy her way to the baseline, skips it across, who got fouled.
It's a tough pass to make under the baseline like that. Wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Calhoun making her 80th start for St. Louis after coming over from Longwood, one of 3 players on the active roster from Longwood that came over with Rebecca Tillett. Another turnover. Randall looking to force the issue. It's Randall versus Calhoun, and a battle of 4-on-4. It's Lania Randall that gets the best of her.
Randall was able to get that bucket from Missouri's defense, double teaming that ball when it first came in off the baseline out of bounds in the corner. They actually practiced that in their shoot around today. That's a really hard spot to throw the ball into in the corner like that. So good execution there by the Tigers.
Timeout from Rebecca Tillett. 2 minutes and 35 seconds into the second quarter. Mizzou with their biggest lead. It's up to 20 now. An 8-0 run to begin quarter number 2 here in Como for the home team. And it's just been defense turning to offense. It's Lanaya Randall. We showed her after the first quarter, and she's off to a hot start in quarter 2 as well. Everything going Missouri's way early on in the first half. They were their 6th game of the season, and for Robin Pitchton's side, 4 transfers. They lost their opener of the season by 16 on the road at Vermont. Wasn't a great start. They went 1-2, including a loss by 3 points right here against Norfolk State. But Jordan, for this side, so many new faces, including a couple of key veteran transfers that are in the starting 5 consistently. So chemistry very big for them as they try to build it here in November.
Yeah, the Tigers are just really trying to figure out their flow, figure out what lineups work best, what players work best with what players. And like you said, Max, they've got, some transfers who are already making a big impact, so they've worked their way into the lineup, specifically Lanaya Randall. You've got some young players that Coach Pinchton is looking to see how they fit in with the team. So a couple disappointing losses to start the season, but they've bounced back since, and they've got a lot of new pieces, a lot of new faces, and even kind of a different playing style based on the roster that they have and the athleticism that they have that they maybe haven't had in the past. And so just a lot to figure out in non-conference, and every team's got to kind of work those kinks out early on in the year.
And Coach Pinchton's got to be thrilled with how they're getting it done so far. They're +8 in points in the paint. They only have 1 3 made so far. Just 1 of 4. That's usually kind of where they can at times live and die, but haven't needed to tonight. Calhoun banks in the 3 straight away. Kennedy Calhoun had 21 points in the season opener for the Billikens, just 22 points in the 3 games combined since then. So that could be a big bucket for her to try to get her going. Abby Schreck gets the rebuttal, though, on the other side.
Yeah, Abby Schreck didn't take her long to get going again. Definitely want a big emphasis on her if you're the Billikens.
And Umeli misfires on the 3. This foul will go against Mizzou. I think they got Abby Schreck.
Take a look here at those back-to-back 3s. Calhoun realizes, oh, I'm wide open there. Gets one to go finally from the top of the key. And then Schreck coming off that career night, 8 of 14 from beyond the arc. Gets one to go, again, just from the top of the key.
Calhoun trying to hit back-to-back. She can't off the heel. They're picked up by Grace Slaughter.
Billikens getting caught maybe shooting a few too many 3s. They're not shooting the 3 ball well, and they've got to use some shot clock. If I'm the Billikens, I'm trying to move that ball, get the Missouri defense to move and break down before I take a shot. What
a great find from Anna Whittaker, who skips it over to Tilda Schulquist, who hits the triple. That's her first of the season, her first as a Tiger. Did score in 12 minutes off the bench in the win at Western Illinois. Lead up to 23. There's their second 3. third triple, rather. But another turnover for the Billikens.
Take another look at that three from Shokovic. Really good find here. Inside-out basketball. Just perfect pass by Hanalin to come right into the pocket for Shokovic on the baseline. You know, Max, we just said a minute ago that Missouri's only had one made three so far this game, and despite that, they're playing well, but they're starting to get rolling from beyond the arc, and when they do that, they can become really dangerous.
Slaughter with a nice footwork. Couldn't get the bucket. Andy Miller looking to race out the other way, finds a wide open Peyton Kennedy, who needed that triple and finds it.
Yeah, they needed that bad, and if you're the Billikens, if you're gonna find ways to shoot the three ball, it should be in transition like that when you've got players like Kennedy, they are spotted up and ready to go, and if you don't have the Missouri defense back set, those are the opportunities to try to find a couple three balls.
Calhoun weaving through the defense. What a great bounce pass to the corner. 3-2 strong, though, from Andy Miller. Pace is really starting to pick up. Slaughter's open on the right wing. Short on the three. Picked up by Hannah Wallace. It's end-to-end right now. Billikens starting to push the pace a bit. Peyton Kennedy's got 8 points. That's another terrific find on a beautiful bounce pass, but you can't miss that if you're Maya Glanton. Might have another chance. No, it's taken away from Slaughter. Big chance there for St. Louis trying to get it back down under 20. This is going to go against Kennedy Calhoun on the reach-in. Randall kept it for Mizzou.
Take a look again, as I mentioned, in transition, that bucket from Peyton Kennedy. SLU likes to get out and run, and that is the most set and ready I've seen a Billiken player take a three. And I think if they can continue to take advantage of those transition opportunities and get players around the three-point line set and ready to shoot, I think they'll be able to fall and find some success in that way.
Schreck with the step back, fadeaway jumper, that's pure. Gianna Harris, the sophomore center at 6'4", the Texas transfer who started her career at Kentucky. Checked in at the last whistle as well for the Tigers. Skip into the corner, quick trigger on the triple, and a bullseye for Bergstrom.
Billikens starting to feel it a little bit in that zone that Missouri's playing. Got some open spots. If you're the Tigers, you want to make sure you keep that head on a swivel when you're in a zone. Even if you're playing against what you consider to be non-shooters, you've always got to keep that head on a swivel.
Free throw line for Gray. Still 0 for 5 from the field. Off the mark again, she's 0 for 6. She really led their effort last year with 22 points versus Missouri in that win. It was their second ever against the Tigers in their first 27 meetings. Quick trigger, great, and it's up and down for Ashton Judd.
She is at her best, Max, when she does have that quick trigger, like you said. If she doesn't think about it and she gets out there and lets it fly, that's when she's at her best.
Kennedy looking for the response. Front of the rim. Mizzou, chance to push the pace one-on-one here. Shokovic lays it off, and an easy deuce for Heron.
Really good patience by Shokovic. Good point guard senses there, knowing Heron was coming right behind her.
Just a great find, a heady play from a player who was second team All-Big South and the Big South tourney MVP last year until the Shokovic, the junior from Sweden. But Ashton Judd, I mean, the threes are starting to fall for Mizzou. They've made their last 4 shots. Even though St. Louis has picked it up on the offensive end. It's a 7-0 run now for Mizzou, getting everybody involved. Tiana Heron, that's just her 3rd field goal of the season. Somebody who came in averaging 2 points a game and less than 4 minutes played per contest. So leads up to 26, and I think it's fair to say this is the best half we've seen so far from the Tigers.
Yeah, it sure is. In their previous game in Western Illinois, they put up the most points they have all season at 75. And if they keep this going, they would be poised to potentially surpass that. So the Tigers looking good on offense so far. The Billikens mentioned when we talked to Coach earlier today that guarding that three ball and defense in general was something that they really needed to improve. And they've got just 20 points on the board right now, and it doesn't help that Missouri's really starting to heat things up from the three-point line. So if you're SLU, you've got to find a way to shut down those three-point shots as soon as possible before it gets out of hand.
This final 3 minutes very important for St. Louis if they want to have any chance of coming back in this game. Calhoun dancing down the baseline. That's a really tough, tight window to try to sneak it through to Kennedy, and she could not. Shumpus trying to sprint down the other way. Finds a wide open Ashton Judd. Foul on the floor. Armbar there from Heron. But Mizzou, even with the lead, feels like they've been at their best tonight when they're working quickly, sprinting down the floor, penetrating, and then kicking it back out.
Another thing that I have noticed so far in this game is turnovers and Missouri's ability, especially in the first quarter, to score off of those turnovers. SLU averages 15 turnovers a game, and they've already got 10. So another thing that's working well for Missouri is forcing those turnovers, not only forcing them, but converting off of them.
On the other side, Mizzou averages over 20 turnovers per game. They have 2. Around and down. I don't think you can jinx Peyton Kennedy when she's at the line. Perfect on the year. She entered tonight 29 of 29. Nobody else that was perfect in the nation had attempted more than 21. She's up to 10 points now. Perfect 5 of 5 from the free throw line. Ashton Judd is feeling it right now. She connects on another. Her second 3. She's got 10 points. Shot 45% from distance as a freshman. Always so confident in that stroke. Wallace is well short. Rare second chance opportunity for St. Louis. Calhoun looking back inside. Shavers going to work, too strong off the window.
Missouri's doing a good job of just making things really hard for this SLU team. They're getting decent looks, but they seem to be pretty rushed.
Abby Schreck. No good, picked up by Bergstrom. Robin Pinchton's really been able to kind of empty the bench here down the stretch. Delilah Brown out there as well, the sophomore. Always no good. Fight for the loose ball picked up by Missouri. They got a chance with over 90 seconds left to put up north of 50 points in this first half. It's Judd again. Heron right there, second chance. Made that a little tougher maybe than it needed to be.
Heron working her way back from a few injuries, but will be a big piece of this Missouri team. She's a post player, a traditional post player with the size that Missouri's been missing for the last handful of years.
Brown gap block, but it's going to be a foul that goes against Bergstrom. Yeah, Heron missed her true freshman season with open heart surgery when she was at Kentucky, then went to Texas. Last year played 11 games, now at school 3 in year 3. First campaign with Mizzou. She'll check out as Federape comes back in. So Mizzou in their 3 prior home games, this is their point totals. 66, 57, and 60 for Southern Norfolk State and Tulane. Well, they're getting to 50 here in the first half.
Yeah, things have just been working really well for the Tigers, and not only are they shooting the ball well, but the 2 turnovers almost at halftime, I think, has a big reason to do with why they're shooting, or excuse me, why they have so many points. They're getting those extra possessions. They normally at this point in the game have close to 10, maybe 12 turnovers, so keeping things at 2 turnovers has been very, very beneficial for them.
Coming up on the SEC Network and the ESPN app is Out of Pocket with Alyssa Lang and Randall Cobb. They'll take you through it inside the World SEC Sports with a focus on football. That's off the hill, and it'll go the other way. An offensive foul drawn by Ashton Judd. Out of Pocket is tonight at a special time of 11 Eastern, 10 Central after Illinois and #2 Alabama in men's hoops. 64 seconds left at a half. It's been all Missouri. They outscored St. Louis 23-11 in the opening quarter. And even more Tigers here in the second, 28-13. And Rape at the free throw line, driving with the left, and a soft kiss off the glass.
Federape, and another player who doesn't get a ton of time, but she kind of has that European game in her.
Bergstrom, she's got a great shot from the corner. It's just up so quickly, you can't defend it. She's got a couple of threes now.
Bergstrom only averaging a couple minutes per game, and Coach Tillett talked to us about, her bench today and how, whoever is ready to play and go off at any given night, she wants whatever player that is to do that. She knows her bench has a lot of players and a lot of pieces, and she wants them to score more and utilize them more. So not surprised to see a player like Bergstrom come off of, very limited minutes and having a heck of a game.
Delilah Brown up to a quick 4 points here. Chance before the buzzer, but it's going to be a travel. 12th turnover already for St. Louis. They have been more than doubled up on the road here at Como. 55-27. Well, Mizzou lost for just the second time ever against St. Louis a year ago in November on the road. Tonight at home, they are flexing their muscle against the Billikens. It's Robin Pitchton's side up by 28 here at Mizzou Arena.
Welcome in. It's the SEC Halftime Report. Alyssa Lang here with you. Is it not the most wonderful time of the year? We've got weeks winding down in college football with some great games coming our way. The postseason is about to be here, and it's crossover season. We've got SEC basketball fully cranked up. The men and the women have given us some incredible games so far with a really strong start to basketball season. Let's get you caught up on some of the action we've seen so far this week, starting with the Hogs. Arkansas's men's team put away the Pacific Tigers on Monday, 91-72. Two players cracked the 20-point barrier. Adu Thiero had 23 and 6 boards. Then Boofy Fland added 20 points and 4 steals. Arkansas with a few games before their big matchup against ranked Illinois. Also on Monday, the Auburn Tigers thrashed North Alabama 102-69. Stud Janai Broome put up an absurd 30-point, 17-rebound stat line. The preseason first-team All-SEC pick continued his fast start to the season. He's now averaging 20 points and 11.3 boards. It gets tougher for the Tigers, though. Their next two games, top 15 teams. Mississippi State also had a strong showing, beating fellow Big Conference foe Utah 78-73. They had to come from behind for the win, outscoring the Utes 50-34 in the second half. Josh Hubbard, though, had 23 points, while Keyshawn Murphy added 18 and 14 boards off the bench. On Tuesday night, Kentucky hosting Lipscomb. 7 minutes in, Cats up 11. Jackson Robinson with the floater. Cats up 17-4 at that point. Later in transition, Robinson again, this time step back three. 13 first half points for him. Kentucky was up 16 at that point. Amari Williams to Kobe Brea for three. They were up 17 at the break. Into the second half now. Robinson, he's not done again from three. Season high in points for him. Cats get the win 97-68. 21st ranked Florida Gators hosting Florida A&M. Scoreless until Walter Clayton Jr. How about that for an alley-oop? Gators up 2-0 early. First half, now up 10-7. Clayton again. Pull up three. Gators go up 6. 28 straight games with a made three for Walter Clayton Jr. How about that? Nice pass for the slam from Will Richard. Florida gets the win 84-60. Alabama A&M visiting Georgia. Early in the first half, Tyron Lawrence to Samto Surreal for the alley-oop. Dogs on top. Now Georgia with the steal. Asa Newell gonna finish with the slam. It's a 24-point game at that point. A few minutes later, again, Surreal keeping the play alive. Finishes with a monster flush. Dogs get a big win, 90-45. On the women's side, teams have been having a good week. Alabama, ranked 22nd, went on the road to UL Monroe and walked out with a 23-point victory. Sarah Ashley Barker put up a 25-point, 7-rebound, 3-assist performance. The senior guard, 10 for 14 from the floor. She's now averaging near 19 points and 8 boards per game on the season. Kentucky has run out to a 5-0 record under new head coach Kenny Brooks. After taking care of in-state Louisville over the weekend, Wildcats dispatched Purdue Fort Wayne 79-67 in the victory. Virginia Tech transfer Georgia Amore finished with 23 points and 7 assists. Deja Lawrence added 21 in the win. And Ole Miss, they've won 3 straight after their season-opening close loss to highly ranked Southern Cal. On Monday, they took care of Jackson State by 32 points. 12 different players scored a point, and no one played more than 24 minutes in a very well-rounded team win. They also accounted for 20 steals in the victory. On Tuesday, Oklahoma was seeking a 4-0 start to the season, taking on Wichita State, up 17-11 in transition. Lexi Keys for 3. Later in the quarter, nice give and go to the 6'4" Oregon State transfer Reagan Beers, who lays it in. OU goes up 25-11 at that point. Second quarter, Sooners up 30-19. Keys again, 3-pointer, bounces around, sinks in. OU gets the victory, 79-49. Here's a look at the SEC football matchups coming your way this Saturday right here on the SEC Network. UMass, interesting situation this week, having fired their head coach, now heading between the hedges to take on the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia back in that college football playoff conversation as of Tuesday. Big win over UMass would certainly help them going into that rivalry week against Georgia Tech. Coming up at 4:15. An SEC matchup between Missouri and Mississippi State. Of course, Missouri fresh off of a loss on the road at South Carolina. What will Brady Cook look like in that matchup? Then Vandy, coming off of a bye week, on the road in Death Valley, taking on LSU in our SEC Saturday night matchup. Thanks for watching. This has been the SEC Halftime Report.
Back here in Columbia, about ready for the start of the second half. It's been all Missouri over St. Louis. Tigers lead in the Billikens by 28. They have more than doubled them up for the first 10 minutes, or first 20 minutes, I should say. Alongside Jordan Routtree, I'm Max Stoneman. Jordan, we talked so much about how well Mizzou has played on the offensive end of things, but the defense, they have really stepped it up and vamped it up here tonight.
Yeah, this has been really a defensive, great showing for the Missouri Tigers. Right now, they've scored 16 points off of the turnovers that they have forced, 12 total turnovers for SLU. They've done so a little bit of man defense, a little bit of zone defense. They're getting their hands on loose balls. They're scoring it in transition. They're pressing a little bit, and they're just doing everything they need to do, both in the half court and the full court, to stifle the SLU offense, holding them just to 27 points on 28% shooting right now.
And these live active hands, I think just as importantly, these are live ball turnovers that are turning into buckets on the other end, whether they're layups or open threes.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you can convert off the turnovers that you're forcing, I mean, that's going to be a good night for you. And you can see on the screen here, St. Louis, 12 turnovers. They average 15 a game. Missouri, only 2 turnovers. They're averaging over 20 turnovers a game. And I really feel like that is the main reason that they've been able to score 55 points in the first half. They're awarding themselves extra possessions that they don't normally have in those games that they have high turnovers.
Mizzou shoots 50% to St. Louis, who's 28%. Randall leading the way with 9 points. You check out the bench points where Mizzou is plus 17. Randall's got 9 points. 12 players have scored for Mizzou. Nobody's at double figures. It's been very democratic on that side of the floor.
Yeah, anytime you have 55 points in the first half, you assume that someone has just gone off, absolutely gone off. But that's just not the case. Incredibly balanced scoring from the Tigers right now. Lanaya Randall leading the way with 9 points. You've got Grace Slaughter with 7. Ashton Judd coming off the bench with 8. No one in double figures, like you said. So this has been very balanced for the Tigers, and it's a good sign if you're Coach Pinchin. You don't have to rely on one player, maybe like they've had to in the past with Haley Frank last year being carrying that heavy load. So if you're the Tigers, you've got many options that are working well for you tonight, and if you're the Billikens, you've got to find a way to score some buckets and also slow Missouri down, especially from the three-point line.
That was a 32-point second quarter for Missouri. If you're on the other side, you're Rebecca Tillett. What do you want to see fight-wise from your team, especially coming out here in just the first 5 minutes?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I want to try to get Peyton Kennedy going. If I'm Coach Tillett, I want a couple quick hits, a couple quick sets, maybe to get her a couple quick buckets. Try to get Missouri into foul trouble a little bit. If Missouri comes out in that zone, I don't mind if you're the Billikens, if you have some shooters on the perimeter who are set and ready to shoot the ball. I don't mind that. In the second quarter, their 3 started to fall a little bit. But I think SLU's got to use the shot clock. They've got to get better shots, get good shots, and they've also got to get Missouri in some foul trouble to get themselves to the free throw line. They shoot it north of 85%. So those are free points if they can get there.
Kennedy, it was somewhat quiet because she had 3 fouls, only played 13 minutes, but does lead the game with 10 points on an efficient 50% from the floor and obviously 100% from the line. She's already gotten there 5 times. She's getting there over 5 times a game so far here in the early stages of this season. So Bergstrom gets a start in this second half, and it's a zone look out of the break for Mizzou defensively, and Kennedy goes to the deck, gets fouled.
Yeah, they went right to Kennedy there, found her in the post. When Missouri's in that zone defense, there will be opportunities to sneak in if you're a weak side guard, if you're a post player, to kind of sneak into that short corner or that SEC logo area to get a quick touch, and that's what Kennedy was looking to do there.
Kelly looking for somebody. Lopped it inside to Maya Glanton. Kennedy with the shot fake, puts it on the deck. That's a tough runner. Can't get the kind roll. Wallace, one dribble, right back up with it, no good. That's a strong rebound deep in the interior from Gallicolandi. Looking to push the pace with Slaughter. 0 on 0-0, and it's single 0. Going to go to the free throw line.
Yeah, Missouri did a good job of getting out in transition fast again like that. A quick outlet. Avery Kroenke maybe could have thrown it up a little bit earlier there to give Grace Slaughter a cleaner look, but good transition look nonetheless.
Mizzou does have their starting 5 back out there on the floor. You got to imagine for Coach Pitchton, she is hoping they could have a good run of it for maybe 5 minutes or somewhere around that. Keep this lead, if not blossom it a little bit more, and then give a lot of the bench a decent amount of playing time. The 12 have scored, 13 have touched the floor for Mizzou tonight. The lead stands at 30 for the first time today. Now they hunker down back in that zone. Calhoun hit a 3 earlier. Fake shot from straight away. Wallace gets cut off. Trying to get to that right-hand hook shot. Great fight from Glanton, but it's last off of her.
The weak side look, the pass that went to Hannah Wallace over there would have been open for a three. They don't necessarily need to look for the three, but something to keep an eye on. That weak side guard is going to be open in that zone quite a bit. So if you're the Billikens, you may want to think about getting a shooter over there, making sure that shooter doesn't come too deep into the paint or too far below the three-point line to clog things up, making sure you want to keep that offense really wide when you're playing against the zone.
Crockett slicing through, spins. Just off the mark. Second effort, no good for Galliculandi. Stays right here. Wilson keeps it alive. Back to Kroenke, looking for her second three. And right there again is Nia Wilson.
Athletic guard and Nia Wilson. Billikens got to get a body on her for sure.
That's just a back-breaking possession if you're St. Louis. Good job getting it inside the teeth of the zone. Kennedy finishes with ease.
Kennedy can score against the bigs. She plays guard, she plays a little bit of post, so they want to continue to feed her the ball on that offensive end in the half court.
Great help defense from Calhoun. Looked like she might have got fouled after she got a hand in there. But it ends up with a Grace Slaughter three, her first of the night. She's got 12. First Tiger into double figures. Calhoun stopped with pop. Round it out. Rim has been unkind on both sides for St. Louis. Great look up ahead. Slaughter finishes right through Bergstrom.
There's that streaking outlet pass again in transition. If you're the Billikens, just got to be aware that Missouri's looking to get that late transition bucket. Oftentimes it's not the first pass, but you've got a weak side trailer coming on the opposite side.
Just one of those nights for Mizzou where you got everybody getting involved, everybody playing well, and now the bench is really feeling it because just everybody's playing their part and playing it perfectly. A Mizzou side that is still shooting 50% from the floor and 43% from distance. Grace Slaughter starting to find it. She gets the straightaway, high arcing triple. And then right back at it, this time with this strong off 2 feet layup on the left side. Grace Slaughter, so consistent. Team's leading scorer, over 14 points per game. Scored 14 on Friday. She's already got 14 here tonight.
Yeah, Grace Slaughter, you can see, just so good at that quick turn over the shoulder. So good at getting out in transition. She's led the team in minutes as a freshman and leads the team in minutes again this year. She just has a motor. She's so calm and composed when she plays. She can score the ball from all three levels. Just a sophomore and just so confident. I mean, never too high, never too low. She's a player that Coach Pinchin clearly instills a lot of trust in. in, and you can see her comparisons already from last season and this season. Great improvement already so far.
Former Missouri Gatorade Player of the Year, former McDonald's All-American. Her best game as a freshman, her highest point outburst was 21 points at St. Louis, just down the road, a couple of hours east of us. Did set a new career high when she surpassed that mark just a week and a day ago, right here versus Tulane, put up 22. 8 points away from tying that mark. There's a whole heck of a lot of time left here tonight. Kennedy, the long, dangerous skip pass. Somehow that found Bergstrom. A couple of hesitations, foot on the line. And Kennedy got fouled by Randall.
And there was that weak side skip pass 3 I was talking about. Wasn't wide open this time, but again, you can see that it's there. Bergstrom and the rest of those guards got to be sure that they're ready, feet set, ready to shoot if they get that skip pass.
Mizzou staying in this zone, and it gets a deflection. Gallikalandi, Kroenke hits the floor, and it rolls off of the Tigers.
There's that defense that we're talking about again. Not quite a steal, but deflections all night from the Tigers. It just really disrupts the flow of the Billikens offense, makes it hard to get into an offensive flow and get things going.
Gallikalandi got a piece of that, and then Avery Kroenke always the first to hit the floor. Peyton Kennedy and a Wallace. And he hit the 18-footer. Stays right here. That's a triple team on Bergstrom, and she got the timeout away. No, she did step out of bounds. It is a turnover. It's not a point over in the direction of the bench, but I was just saying Mizzou basketball.
I'm not sure if that was by design for the Tigers, but earlier in shoot-around today, that was a big emphasis, was making sure they take advantage of any time that the Billikens have the ball on the sideline of the baseline, get a good trap in. They've done that several times tonight.
Wild shot from Randall. Gallikalandi can't get the stick back. Kennedy almost just threw that away. Calhoun picks it up, though. Gets to the free throw line. Nice layoff. Glanton can't hit with the left. Might have gotten away with a travel when she caught it. Calhoun in amongst the trees. Almost gets by Kroenke, almost threw it away. 3 subs coming in for the Billikens. Tillett, Shavers, and Johns. They're down by 35. Analytica, meanwhile, checks in for Gallikalandi for the Tigers. Tillett, deflected pass picked up by Analytica right after she checked in. Another turnover. That's number 14. Can Wilson pay it off on the other end? Too strong. Slaughter's right there, trying to put it back up with the left. She can't, but Randall's there. Third try is the charm.
Tigers really just outworking the Billikens on the boards right now. I know they have a bit of a size advantage, but SLU has got to get a body on the Missouri Tigers and force them out of the paint. The rebounding is just coming way too easy for the Tigers right now. They're up 13 on the boards currently.
11-2 so far here in the third quarter to start things for Mizzou. They've dominated each and every quarter. Bree Johns too short. Tillett keeps it alive. Off balance, kind of just threw that back up. Hadn't really even turned to face the bucket yet. Kroenke on the sprint out. Drives down the baseline. Good find. Lanaya Randall cans the three.
Lanaya Randall, haven't seen a three from her tonight, but again, another part of her game that she has in her bag is that three-point shot. Good job of Avery Kroenke seeing that as she went back across the baseline, see her open teammate.
It's her first three at her first three-point attempt. Maybe not how you draw it up, because right after she hits it, Avery Kroenke just ran her over right in front of their own bench, but it gets the job done as we take another look.
Take a quick look. Good job, good patience by Kroenke, bringing Kennedy out back close to the three-point line, and then goes back to the baseline. Lanaya Randall wide open. Really good job there by Avery Kroenke, utilizing that patience to get the pass off.
Hey, excuse me, that was a deep two in this 9-0 run over the last 3 minutes plus for Mizzou. (29-68). And Mizzou struggled in the first quarter. Friday at Western Illinois, they actually trailed after 10 minutes, 17-15. It was all Tigers the rest of the way. outscored the Leathernecks by 22 over the final 30 minutes. They have picked up right where they left off. It's been a very balanced attack. Defense having arguably their best game. Shrek gonna hoist from distance, almost from the logo. Wilson keeps it alive, and it's last off of Kennedy Calhoun. Media break here. 4:51 left in the third quarter. Tigers off and running, 13-2 in this third. St. Louis still trying to figure things out. They've missed their last 7 shots. They haven't scored in 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Kennedy's played great, as you'd imagine. She's got 12 points. That's more than the other 4 starters combined. She's gotten some help off the bench from Mia Bergstrom, but Jordan, everybody else collectively 5 of 32.
Yeah, this is a little bit of what we talked about earlier on in the game is that production from the rest of the starters outside of Kennedy needing to step up. And Bergstrom, up until this point, prior to tonight, has played only a total of 8 minutes. And so it's a good thing that she's been able to come off the bench and provide some more offensive production there. But again, just some serious offensive struggles for the rest of the Billiken starters. And you see Peyton Kennedy again just carrying a heavy load. She's got her and Bergstrom 18 of the team's 29 points, so more than half of their total points. And it's definitely hard to win that way.
Bergstrom had 6 points in the year entering tonight. They all came 2 games ago versus Illinois State when she went 2 of 3 from beyond the arc in a 1-minute performance. Shrek had a glimmer of a window there. Bounces it inside to Slaughter. Draws the double team. Loses it. It's picked up by Bree Johns. Good defense out of the timeout from St. Louis. Looked like it could have been a tie-up, but Shrek, while she was touching the ball, was out of bounds. So it is St. Louis basketball.
You can tell just coming out of that break, there must have been some discussion over there on the SLU bench about that defensive intensity, throwing some different things Missouri's way. And at this point in the game, offense is not working. That's what you've got to do for the Billikens, and I'm sure they'll continue that through the rest of the game, whether they press or just throw some different junk defenses. They've just got to turn Missouri over.
Kennedy, a careless pass. This is a learning game, and a lot that can be taken away from even just these final 14 minutes we're going to see from St. Louis, even though they have this big deficit. As that foul will send Abby Shrek to the line, but St. Louis, a side that won the WNIT last year. The year before that, they made their first ever NCAA tournament. They've got some new faces. They have some youth as well. I mean, Peyton Kennedy is the only player on the Billikens, sophomore or older, that's actually been at St. Louis the whole time. She kind of is the key cog and the cornerstone for this program right now. But it's early on in November. Side that was picked 7th of the 15 teams in the Atlantic 10. You imagine they'll find it. This is already their 4th road game of their first 5. One home game was a win versus Illinois State. It's a wild game where they were trailing. Kennedy Calhoun dislocated a finger, came right back in after less than 2 minutes of game time. That's how much fight and grit she has. That's a great play in the lane that ends up with a Bree Johns layup. And you could tell that Rebecca Tillett's side throwing some different looks and still doing a whole lot of coaching on that sideline, even in this blowout. As there's the friendly roll for Abby Schreck. Connects on her second 3 of the night. She's into double figures.
Good job there by Kennedy, just taking matters into her own hands here, I think. See Schreck here gets it to roll. Missouri's gotten a lot of friendly rolls tonight. SLU not so much. That went all the way out and came back in. Abby Schreck coming off that career game that she had. She's got a couple threes tonight.
She's got 10 points in 12 minutes. Not quite the 26 and 26 she had on Friday, but she's got time. She's getting there. Kennedy up and good. She's 6 of 6 from the line, up to 13 points now. The only Billiken with north of 6 points today. Slaughter leading the way in the game with 14, and now Kennedy will match that total. Still perfect from the line this year, now 36 of 36. Eventually, she's going to miss at some point this year, you'd imagine. And I'm sure there'll be fans complaining about the announcer jinx when it happens. As Schreck cans back-to-back 3s. She's up to 13 points now. So deadly off the bench, someone who could come in and just shoot it so well, not just from beyond the arc, but I mean just so efficiently from the floor altogether.
Her minutes her points per minutes played is quite impressive.
Entered 3rd in the country and made 3s on the year with 19. That's a great move from Wilson, and everything is falling for the Tigers.
Nia Wilson, you haven't seen a ton of her offensive capabilities so far yet this season, but my goodness, that was a great move, and you can tell she's a player that can really handle the ball in that point guard position.
And Umeli turns it over, deflected by Linthicum, picked up by Judd. Wilson on the run out. Can't get the layup. Randall's right there. She can't finish either. Linthicum's there. And more free throws for Mizzou. They're up to a season high now with these 78 points, surpassing their 75 from Friday night.
Take a look here at that Abby Schreck doing what she does. Wide open 3 in the corner. That can't happen if you're SLU. They've got to have someone at her hip at all times. And then Nia Wilson, nice little spin move after the attack. That mid-range game is something she likes as well, similar to Lanaya Randall.
Schreck's got that funny stat line. Entering tonight, she was 2 of 11 this year from 2. 19 of 39 on 3s this year. Linthicum misses the first free throw. So she's 1 of 2 from inside the arc tonight and 3 of 5 from beyond it. Continuing that trend. And at this pace, Mizzou is well on their way to over 100 points. On the verge of 80 with still a couple minutes left in this 3rd. And it's going to be a charge. Anna Linthicum with the big smile on her face as she rises from the floor. Goes against Shataria and Umeli.
And that happened there, Max. There's a lot of dribbling from the Billikens. You need to see a little bit more quick passes and some more screening action where they've got to get some separation from the Missouri defenders to get some better shots off. They've just had some big struggles with trying to get open.
Rita Nazario, one of the other true freshmen on this St. Louis side, has checked in. Rare miss there from Schreck. Kept alive by Schulkvist. This time it's a corner 3 from Judd, well off the mark. Randall keeps it alive, got caught underneath the bucket. Got the bailout foul. It'll go against Shataria and Umeli, who's got back-to-back trips up the floor with fouls. freshman who's really struggled in 13 minutes. She's 0 of 4 from the field, 5 turnovers. And just like that, Mizzou up to 80 points already. And if this is your first time seeing this Mizzou side this year, you are seeing them at their absolute best.
Yeah, I would say this is by far their best outing of the season. Some of that, I think, you can thank SLU's defensive struggles that they've had in this game. Just a lot of wide open opportunities for the Tigers that they've been able to convert on. But all credit to Missouri and what they've been able to do here tonight. Clearly their best showing of the season.
Whistle goes against Mizzou this time. It's an 8-0 run. Mizzou shot 41% in all 4 quarters against Western Illinois. Shooting the lights out again here tonight, 47% from the floor. Their lowest point quarter was the first when they had 23. Rita Nazario with the basketball, the freshman from Portugal. Didn't play the last couple of games. Had 1 minute logged in each of her first 2 contests. Deflected pass. And Melly gets her first bucket and first points of the night. Less than a minute to go. The third quarter, that's been all Mizzou again. Chokefits with the great bounce pass at the last second. Easy deuce for Gallicolandi.
Chokefits just had a couple of those perfect thread the needle type dump down passes tonight.
Gray could really use a bucket. Won't get it here. Boy, that just hung on the rim forever.
Brooklyn Gray, another guard with some really good size. I'd like to see her maybe get a couple post touches here and there in the zone if she's got a guard in that bottom row on her. I think in general, the Billikens are doing a decent job trying to find the open spots in the zone, but what they need to do is when they find that open spot, they need to find a defender and put a body or push them out of the lane a little bit. They can't just kind of find that air or that weak spot. They've got to actually move a defender or make contact with a defender so that they can get good position to score.
Nice for Gray to get to the free throw line. Shot 82% last year. 2 of 2 tonight. She's got her first couple of points. Mentioned the 3 points she had last game was a season low, her worst in the regular season, as Judd did turn this over. The least point total she's had in a game with St. Louis actually came in the 4th round of the WNIT last year at Wisconsin when she had 2, but she's hoping that can get her confidence going down the stretch here with just over a quarter left. St. Louis just finally go back home. They play Missouri State, another Show Me State battle over the weekend. The lead at 46. Shot clock is gone dark. Delilah Brown. Chance to do something at the buzzer here for this home crowd. Over the top inside, Gallicolandi can't get the off-balance shot. But it's another 10 minutes that was dominated by Mizzou. 28-10, the score in favor of the Tigers in that third stanza. They've been doing it all, and Abby Schreck, who maybe had a quiet first half after that career high, she's found it. Randall's doing it all. Got the long-range jumpers going, and Schreck really leading the way. Well, there's much maligned defense for Rebecca Tillett's St. Louis Billikens, giving up 80 points per game. They've already allowed 83. There's still 10 minutes left on the clock. They haven't really figured it out, but, I mean, that's nothing against Mizzou, who's really been flying on all cylinders here offensively.
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit of both. I think, SLU definitely has some struggles on the defensive end, but Missouri obviously shooting the ball really well. What I've noticed from the Billikens tonight, sometimes on defense, they get a little too aggressive on the first couple of rotations of the ball. They get maybe a little bit too aggressive, and they're reaching, lunging for the ball, giving up really easy looks. Sometimes, they're not recovering, not communicating on defense super well. They'll go out for a quick trap and then turn their head and lose a shooter. So they've got the pieces. I think they've got the pieces. They've just got to be a little bit more disciplined on defense, not be too aggressive and giving up easy looks on the backside of a possession. But anytime you're giving up 80 points a game, and in this scenario, likely a lot more than that, it's going to be hard to win consistently. You've got to put up quite a few points a night. So that's something that I think SLU can learn from coming out of tonight, just learning how to get this team to be a little bit more disciplined on the defensive end.
They've had a pretty tough slate in the early going as well at South Dakota. That was a 2-point win in overtime, very high-scoring game at a very good Drake Bulldogs team. They played Illinois State at home, lost at Southern Indiana. That's the reigning champs of the OVC, on the road against an SEC team tonight, as Kennedy's a little bit too strong. They're at home versus Missouri State. Here's a turnover as Wallace gets the bucket. That's her second. She's got 4 points. And they're at Cal Baptist, and they play actually number 3 USC in Palm Springs on November 29th. Fortuitous bounce for Gallicolandi, who gets the bucket. Late whistle and a foul. You got to think Jordan of Mizzou's going to surprise some folks. They're picked second to last, 15th of 16 in the SEC. They're going to need a step up of play and quality play from the likes of the Angelique Gallicolandis, who, returning from injury, only played 8 games last year, but that interior presence has been something they've kind of lacked the last couple of years. Yeah,
for sure. I think, picked preseason to finish second in the conference, coming off of last year. They've got a renewed roster. Everyone's healthy so far this season. So, like you said, Max, I think they can surprise some people. I think they've really built up their interior presence. They've built up their guard play, even their athleticism. They're a little bit deeper than they have been in the past. So they could definitely surprise some people come January.
Still figuring some things out. No doubt Robin Pitchen's hoping this starting 5 can last more than just a couple of games. It's been 2 in a row. Fight with a loose ball. Judd has it and gets the easy layup.
That's another thing for the Billikens. Try to get those extra possessions on those loose balls. Got to be first to the ground at all times. I think Missouri has definitely kind of won that loose ball hustle challenge tonight.
Careless turnover. We've seen some moments like that from the freshman from St. Louis. They get it right back, though. And a wide open 3 is cashed it from Shataria and Umeli. Great look ahead. It's end-to-end right now. Gallicolandi with another easy layup. She's into double figures with 11. At 14 points versus Norfolk State, 10 versus Tulane. Just 1 point last game, so good for Mizzou fans to see her going again.
Yeah, Gallicolandi's a player who is at UMass, and she led the conference in field goal percentage, and so she scores the ball very efficiently. Haven't seen a ton of her so far yet in this Mizzou jersey, but very, very high ceiling.
Great quick touch pass out to Kennedy. Good movement. Leads to an open 3, but not too close. It'll stay here, though. Last stop, Vicky Ferrape. Tiana Herron will come in for Gallicolandi. It's like Maya Clanton on the other side will replace Brooklyn Gray. Some nice moments for Gray. Got her first bucket up to 4 points. She entered this fourth quarter without any points. That's too easy off the inbounds. Too strong on the 3, but foul will keep it right here. Shataria and Umeli, fearless. I mean, the freshmen on this Billiken side, you would expect them to grow and continue to improve before they ultimately get to conference play, which for them starts at the end of December at Rhode Island. But Wallace and Umeli, I mean, just intrepid freshmen who are going to have those freshman moments. It's still November, but have really shown some positive flashes.
And it's always a good thing if you're a coach, if you've got freshmen who are, playing heavy minutes and playing a significant role this early on in their career. It's okay if you've got, some kinks to work out early on in the season, especially if you've got really good freshmen playing for you.
Melly can't hit the 3. So on the foul front for Ashton Judd, that was her 5th foul. It's really only her and Peyton Kennedy on the other side in foul trouble. Kennedy sitting on 4. Kind of a quiet foul out for Judd, who had 10 points. She's been struggling with the turnovers. She did have 3 tonight. Shot the ball well, though, 4 of 9 from the field, a couple of threes. I think Lewis is starting to move the ball a little bit faster, but still too many turnovers. Abby Schreck straight away and straight in.
And that dribble drive offense that Missouri's been doing tonight, it's so simple. They're not doing much at all, but they've really found success as soon as the SLU defense breaks down just a tiny bit off the dribble drive. They've got those 3-point shooters like Abby Schreck ready to step up and knock it down.
Back-to-back turnovers for SLU. Mizzou's up to 92 points. Abby Schreck leading the way. That's her 4th 3. She's got 16. That's a game high.
And if you're SLU, you just saw that replay there. On that dribble drive offense, anytime there's a dribble handoff or a screen, I mean, there's several players on that Missouri team that I would be trying to go over the top of any sort of screening action or dribble handoff every single time, especially with Abby Schreck. There's no reason that you should be that far off and giving her that much room coming off a dribble handoff.
I mean, she's attempted 13 twos on the year. She's only 3 of 13 in that span. Extra pass into the corner. Brown with the triple. Back-to-back threes for Mizzou. They're up to 95.
She shot that thing with some confidence. Nyla Brown doesn't do that a ton, but another veteran player who has scored a lot and played a lot at her previous schools, and she rose up with confidence right there.
8-0 run in less than 90 seconds. And a lot of that has to do with, that's 3 straight trips down the floor with turnovers, and now 22 on the night for St. Louis. Nyla Brown penetrates, kicks it out. London Oliphant getting minutes out here down the stretch. Doesn't get the call in her favor, and that's out. St. Louis basketball, and the Tigers, well, they didn't hit a 3 for a while. They didn't really need to hit too many. I think they just had 1 in the first quarter, but they've really found the stroke from the perimeter.
Yeah, it was a good one more pass there from Oliphant, the freshman, to get it to Nyla Brown. Again, just an incredible display of balanced scoring from this Tigers team. I mean, there's really been no drop-off between the starters and the bench, and the different lineups that they've had in. It's been so consistent offensively.
They're 10 of 23 from distance. That's 43%, just over their season clip, and 41 entering tonight, which was top 25 in the nation. And Umeli with the step back, left it short. Brown surging ahead. Gotta get out there on Schreck. She might rip it from the logo. She'll hoist from here and hits another. Up to 19.
My goodness, Abby Schreck has become quite the 3-point star here for the Tigers over the last couple games. And I mean, I'm sure teams will watch film of these games, and she's gonna have some defense thrown at her moving forward.
Great answer on the other side from Kennedy Calhoun. She gets her second 3. And Jordan, it's just so tough because, I mean, Schreck, she doesn't start. But she's such a shot in the arm off the bench. 19 points in 17 minutes tonight.
Yeah, I mean, anytime she comes off the bench, if she continues to come off the bench, teams have to be aware at all times. She is going to be that offensive spark, I think, the entire year. If she continues to come off the bench, it's just so advantageous as a coach to have a scorer like that who doesn't even start. I mean, you've always got those options, but coming off the bench, it's incredibly valuable.
Tillman forces the turnover. Trying to turn it into points. And Kennedy, I don't think she meant to get rid of that. Mizzou eyeing 100 points. Still 4:35 left to play here at Como. Calhoun strips it away. Brown's got her left foot on the sideline. It looked like Mizzou had tried to call timeout, but they'll say it's out of bounds first. As we go to our media break in the 4th quarter, Abby Schreck lighting it up. She's got 5 threes and a game-high 19 points. Well, we started the night highlighting Abby Schreck at her 26-point outburst on Friday. We're going to end the night talking about her as well.
Yeah, Abby Schreck, I mean, we were just talking about all the balanced scoring and how no one had double figures. You look up, she's got 20 points all of a sudden. She is just, again, the three-point shooting has been stellar. The Billikens giving her way too much time and space. She doesn't need much to begin with, but she came into this game, she's got 13 twos attempted on the entire year. She's got 13 made threes the last 2 games. So, I mean, three-point shooter for sure. I mean,
she perfectly personifies modern basketball in college or at the pro level. I mean, she's out there running and gunning, playing just a little over 20 minutes, shooting the lights out from distance, and somebody who comes in as such a spark off the bench. I mean, 19 points in 18 minutes. On Friday, she had 26 points in 26 minutes. She's so efficient from the floor. 19 made threes entering today. That was 3rd in the country. She's added 5 up to 24. We'll have to see what happens elsewhere to see where she ranks tomorrow.
0 turnovers. That plus minus is probably through the roof. Just there's probably viewers watching thinking, why doesn't she start? Is she going to start? She may be better coming off the bench anyway. And, you know, oftentimes those rotations, you'll have offensive superstars coming off the bench.
Olafat will head to the free throw line. Foul going against Gray. It transition. Chance for Mizzou to get to triple digits. London Olafat, his last appearance came in the opener at Vermont when she played 2 minutes. Number 40 recruit in the state of Texas, was first team All-State. Over 14 points per game as a senior. She was a stat sheet stuffer, over 5 boards and over 4 assists too. You could kind of tell there was a little bit of nervousness in the crowd. 2 free throws for a chance to push them over and get to 100. This place was absolutely dead silent before that first one. Splits the pair for the freshman. That is her first collegiate point. And now 13 players that have scored tonight for Mizzou. Remember, it was 12 at halftime. I mean, if they had a roster that had 20 players, we might have seen 20 tonight. Rappe gets the rebound. She had been holding her wrist earlier in this 4th quarter, but looks fine now. Schunkvist on the dribble drive, gets it to her left, finds Heron. Tough shot, couldn't get it to fall. She's kind of been fading away on those close shots at the rim.
She has. I think she may have had an easier look if she went straight over that right shoulder using that left hand.
So Gray's going to go back to the free throw line. And don't sleep on what she has done down the stretch of this game, because she had played very poorly for about a game and a half. She's starting to find it, and she is certainly a scorer. We came on the air tonight talking about how St. Louis, they needed to find some of these ancillary pieces to step up their game, not only on the defensive side, but certainly on the offensive side to help out Peyton Kennedy. Gray being a key one of those potential players, and it's been a little bit too little too late from her.
Yeah, and Max, I think specifically Brooklyn Gray would be that starter to step up and help Kennedy in the scoring category because of her ability to get a bucket. She knows how to get a shot and create a shot for herself. If those have been watching close enough, she can really handle that ball, and she can get herself to open spaces and create separation. And you can see her having a long talk over there with Coach Tillett, and I'm sure that she's wants more aggression from her moving forward because she really is a good offensive player. I've been able to watch her in past seasons, and she'll have to step up and help Kennedy because she is that player who I think can do so.
With that bucket from Fred Rappe, north of 100 points tonight for Mizzou. St. Louis still not up to 50. Billikens home for their last 4, 1 for their last 9 from the field. Brown takes to 3, just wide to the right, and that'll bounce out of play. So St. Louis next up for them on Saturday at home versus Missouri State. It's their second home game of the year. On the Mizzou side of things, they're right back to work. Not even 48 hours from now. It's a morning game on Friday, 11:30 a.m. All the kids in attendance, always a very fun one.
Very quick turnaround, and worked out very nicely tonight for Coach Pinchton, being able to rest some of those starters more than usual.
Back to a cut for Johns, bounces it inside. Shavers is fouled on the way up. It's actually the first foul of the fourth quarter for Mizzou as well. Here's a look ahead. They've got Arkansas Little Rock for that morning game. The coffee ready. They're handing out mugs today for Friendsgiving here at Mizzou Arena. Maybe that's a precursor to having your coffee ready and poured for the Friday morning game. And the game for Syracuse next day, it'll be either Creighton or Wichita State. It's a side for Missouri. They should have some confidence going by the time they do hit the conference slate, which, however you break it down, it's as tough a start as you could have, really. They get number 1 South Carolina on January 2nd to begin SEC play. Oh, how about the shoulder fake and the reverse layup for Oliphant. Bench going nuts.
Bench going crazy. That was a beautiful move. Great job by the freshman. Recognizing she had to get the defense cut off there, stop and come back around.
Oliphant right back to work. Back-to-back buckets. He's got 5 points, the first 5 of her career.
You love to see that in these type of games. Young players and players coming off the bench gaining some confidence.
How about it? Bergstrom from well behind the arc.
My goodness, that girl can shoot the ball, and I think that she'll find herself some minutes moving forward after tonight, what she's shown. Maybe she can be one of those players to step up from the three-point line and help Kennedy out in the shooting department.
What a 3 freshmen getting a lot of run. Bergstrom, I mean, really a lot of run tonight, not generally in the season. There's a response on the other end, the and one for Tiana Heron. Boy, the offense has really picked up here in the final minute.
It really has, and, you know, obviously this game is won at this point if you're the Tigers, but what I think is so valuable, you know, these points don't, you know, change the game or anything, but you've got players like Heron who's been out for so long an injury. Look at the strong move, keeps the ball high, which is the key. That's really important if you're a player with that height. Keep the ball high. It's so hard to defend, but you've got players like her who are coming off of, you know, a year or more of injury and able to really get this confidence. They can see what, you know, they can do, messing with lineups and different rotations. Coach Pynchon gets to, you know, get some more confidence from her players as, you know, Oliphant out there making things work, and just it's really valuable for these young players to get these sort of minutes in, moving into heightened competition before conference starts.
Almost made it sound like whose line is it anyway? Everything's made up, but the points don't matter. Bergstrom almost hit another deep 3. The last time Mizzou, by the way, scored 100 points was versus Ole Miss, January 23rd of 2017. It's been a long time. They're trying to get to 110. And Oliphant, she doesn't get run like this a whole lot, so she's going to take full advantage.
Absolutely. Great opportunity, great learning experience for these players.
Up and down we go. Fast tempo here down the stretch. Brown on the drive, just slashing it for the easy layup. I mean, if your coach pitched and, yeah, the starters look great, your key reserves have looked strong, but it's got to be nice to see the players who don't play much off the bench doing soundly on both ends. Bergstrom again. Boy, she's having a night. She's in the double figures now with 11. Easily a career high. I mean, she's almost doubled her point production on the season in total tonight.
You know, Max, we've talked a lot about the Billikens allowing 80 points a game and them not being able to put up a lot of points. But in their prior games before tonight, they are averaging 73 points a game. So this is somewhat uncharacteristic if you're them. They have been able to score the ball a little bit better than they have here tonight.
Oliphant again. She's trying to get into double figures before all is said and done. Don't imagine with the shot clock going dark that Mizzou's going to get a shot up this possession, but Oliphant's got 7 points. She's 3 of 4 in a span of 8 minutes. Almost all of that has come in this fourth quarter. Played a little bit in quarter number 2. Mizzou could just salt this one away. Up by 53 points. They lost for just the second time ever against St. Louis last year. Not trying to return the favor, but a timeout called by Robin Pynchon. She's got the full allotment left. She'll use one here with 3.7.
She's got something to say.
112 points. I mean, Jordan, this is not the script we thought coming in. The St. Louis side coming off a WNIT championship. They're starting to try to figure things out. This game didn't go their way, but Mizzou, after a 1-2 start, this is going to be win number 3 in a row, and they'll look to make it 4 on Friday morning.
Yeah, and even in their Missouri's last handful of wins, it has not been with this much conviction. And I think it's so important before you get to the latter part of the season to have those convicting wins. Of course, it's good to rack up some wins in the non-conference, but wins like this, when you play beyond your offensive potential and you hold the team to 60 points and you keep the turnovers down, those are the type of convicting wins that will actually truly build the character and the confidence moving forward.
13 players scored for Mizzou. They win by 53. After losing last year in St. Louis, they returned the favor in decisive fashion. Their first time scoring triple figures since February of 2017. It was a rout tonight for the Tigers. They get it done. It was 23-11 after one quarter, and they just never looked back. Won every quarter by at least 7 points. Shot 53%. We're back after this talking with Abby Schreck.